Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at Shizu Delta and how strong she is. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Now, Shizu Delta, the sneaker and charge mate, is quite interesting, and I've already made a video about her character build and her personality. But what I forgot to emphasize is, in the Play This video and other videos about Ainz, Cocytus, Sheltier and the other NPCs in general, is how strong they actually are, and I'm not talking just about levels here. And that's what I'm going to answer in today's video, namely how strong Shizu Delta is. And to do that, let's first take a look at her character sheet, where her classes and her stat values are listed. And the first thing that immediately catches my and hopefully your attention is her enormous attack bar that the woman has at her disposal. Well, that's anime for you. Jokes aside though, her attack value is higher than that of Demiurge, a level 100 NPC and guardian of the 7th floor, which brings us to something I should explain about NPCs in general. Shizu Delta and the other Pleiades in essence have a significant advantage over anyone in the new world. While even people who are warriors their entire lives, like Brain Anglaus, are still ending up with useless classes for combat, such as Cook, the NPCs, especially those created by the players of Neswick and other guilds for that matter, can be completely tailored to their specific task. While Brain Anglaus would never actively choose to be a cook, but inadvertently made life harder or easier for him by accidentally learning the cooking skills during his travels, and therefore wasting a level that could have otherwise been used for combat-based classes like Warrior or Sword Saint, Shizu Delta's character build could be planned out from the very beginning without any external influences, and thus she ends up with being designed for maximum efficiency. Additionally, the character builds of the NPCs from the Great Tomb of Neswick could also be aligned with the equipment that they would later wear and use, allowing for many additional synergy effects. In other words, it's not only the level alone that determines how strong one is, but also the equipment and how effective the levels are distributed, and how levels and equipment harmonize with each other. And again, all of this could be planned out in perfect detail. This means Shizu Delta, solely based on the quality of her character build, is vastly superior to almost any opponent on the same level, and this is because she received much more combat power per level than beings in the new world. Furthermore, her equipment is of a completely different quality level than the equipment of the new world. Aside from the Black Scripture having access to items from players of Yggdrasil, there are very few genuinely high-level items available in the new world. For example, Shizu Delta's armor is crafted from extremely rare materials and metals which are much stronger than adamantite, which is generally seen as the strongest known metal in the new world. In other words, even if Shizu Delta is on the same level as the Frost Dragon Olasir Dark Halil, she is much stronger due to having better equipment and being optimized, min-maxed for combat. And with that said, now let's return to her character sheet and her stat values. And the high attack value alone makes her a real killer. And thanks to her ranged combat strength, Shizu can eliminate enemies from the rear and from a distance before they can even react, thus preventing a counterattack and damage being inflicted on her. With this strategy, Shizu can afford having a low physical defense stat, and if Shizu Delta were to fight, for example, Olasir Dark, Facing the dragon in a one-on-one battle, she could have initiated the fight with a surprise attack, thus inflicting severe damage before he even knew what had happened. And I also should illustrate that her armor is also designed for ranged combat. For instance, Shizu's shoulder plate serves to deflect enemy projectiles, while she is in the line of fire. This means that projectile weapons would have a great disadvantage against Shizu's armor. Moreover, her scarf is absolutely overpowered for her level, because it is an item of the highest level of items that completely conceals her from the eyes of opponents, making her truly invisible. And this cloak is also the reason why she is called the Sneak and Charge Maid, since thanks to it, she could stealthily approach most level 100 players, unless they are ranger types like Aura. People on her own level, again such as Overlord Dark, would not even know where she is. All that would happen to her opponent in combat is that Shizu delivers short bursts of fire and then retreats, constantly changing her position, until another opening to let out another burst of fire presents itself. In other words, the battle against Overlord Dark, a mighty ice dragon, a being on Shizu's own level, would not be particularly challenging for Shizu, even though dragons are mighty. And Shizu might still get hit by some area of effect attacks, like the dragon's ice breath, but she would perhaps lose only 10% of her life and then be more or less okay and fine, while Overlord Dark, being again a creature of the same level as Shizu Delta, would be completely annihilated. And remember, even Ein Solgon lost 2 spells, because Shizu Delta's weaker doppelganger successfully attacked him twice from a concealed ambush position. In other words, thanks to her combat strategy, namely camouflage, attacking, being invisible, and then changing position just to attack again, Shizu Delta can be at least a nuisance for level 100 players and utterly annihilate people and beings on her own level. And as mentioned, Ein Solgon is also very experienced in combat, making the feats of her doppelganger, who is less familiar with her strengths and strategies and tactics, even more impressive. Furthermore, her scarf also allows her to operate far, far behind enemy lines and eliminate important targets there, such as leaders, strategists, and other key figures, without being detected, making her extremely valuable on a strategic level. And again, the entire principle behind her min-maxing is simply ingenious. Since she cannot be seen, she does not necessarily need a high level and a lot of defense and HP just to withstand enemy attacks. Instead, practically everything that is available can be invested in her high attack value to ensure that her stealth attacks inflict incredible damage, making her very lethal at a distance, and it doesn't even have to come to close combat, and therefore there is no need for her defense to be even active or specifically very high. In addition, her agility is also expanded and higher than normal, especially considering that her level is just 46. This enables her to dodge attacks and quickly change positions, which further supports her combat tactics. And while her normal defense is relatively weak, she excels at defending against magical damage, making attacks like homing magic and magical area of effect damage less effective. In other words, her character build counters even those trying to counter her main strategy. And this is a level of optimization and planning the New World simply doesn't have access to. And again, with classes like Sniper and Stalker, she also has the ability to eliminate targets from a safe distance or from the shadows, without they being even able to defend themselves. And even in close combat, thanks to her combat knife, she is not defenseless. If, and this is a big if, she has indeed been tracked down or can no longer remain concealed, Shizu, armed with a combat knife, is deadly in close combat because, as mentioned, she has an extremely high attack value and is quite quick. and therefore she can end any close quarter fights relatively safely and quickly, unless the opponent is significantly stronger. But even then, she has still her armor. This means that even though Shizu Delta is only at level 46, she could likely defeat opponents like the Godkin leading the Black Scripture, or perhaps even one of the Dragon Lords from Arkland in combat, even though they are likely at least 20 levels or more stronger than her. Again, if she can get the first hit in, and can basically dictate the time and place of the engagement, which again shouldn't be very hard for her, then the battle might not be even that hard, simply because her surprise attacks are just that deadly. And as mentioned, Shizu Delta, thanks to her ability to be deployed behind enemy lines, is also tremendously useful on a strategic level. She can eliminate leadership personnel and carry out infiltration missions, proving that her strength is not only in combat, but also in causing significant strategic damage. For example, she too could do what Clementine did and steal an artifact like the Miku Priestess's own crown. And therefore she can disrupt enemy rituals and plans before they are carried out. Moreover, thanks to her enormous attack power and her armor being designed for ranged combat, she also excels in any firefights, and therefore she can likely neutralize stronger ranged combatants. And with that said, now it's your turn. Let me know what you're thinking about Shizu Delta and the video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Other Daddy Other, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Carcos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.